Today we're going to explore the physical phenomena named tears of wine and also explore the basic theory behind it. Let's first describe what is the tears of wine. When you pour enough amount of wine into a wine glass, after a few seconds, you can see a thin layer of wine stick to the glass wall right over the wine surface level. And the height of the thin liquid is about 0.5 centimeters. And after a while, there will be multiple drops, like here, dropping from the thin layer and drop back to the wine bottle. And this phenomena is called the tears of wine, and sometimes it's also called the wine legs. To explore the physical theory behind tears of wine, we need to consider this process as two steps. The first step is how the wine climbing up the glass wall and form this thin layer of wine liquid on the glass wall, right over the wine surface level. And the second step is how the liquid become multiple drops from the thin layer on the glass wall and drop back into the wine bottle. And later on, 7 experiments were performed to prove that the forming process of tears of wine is based on the physical truth of alcohol has lower surface tension than water, and it is also evaporate faster than water. Here comes the first experiment. The purpose of this experiment is to prove that the formation of tears of wine does not depend on the glass shape. And here, to perform this experiment, we need 2 kinds of glasses. The first one is cocktail glass, and the second one is the wine glass. And from the previous introduction, we can know that the tears of wine can form in the wine glass. So in this part, we will focus on the cocktail glass. So we just need to pour this same amount of wine into the cocktail glass and wait for a few seconds to see if there will be tears of wine formed on the wall of cocktail glass. After a few seconds, we can see tears formed on the cocktail glasses as well. And from this experiment, we can know that no matter what kind of glasses we use, tears of wine will always form on the glass wall. Then the second experiment is called the ingredient of wine. So the purpose of this experiment is to determine what kind of ingredient make wine act like this, because not all kinds of liquid have the tears. Everybody knows red wine is basically made of water, sugar, alcohol, and other kind of fruit ingredient. So here I have 5 exactly same cocktail glasses. From previous experiment, we know tears of wine can form in the cocktail glasses. So if we pour 4 kind of the major ingredient of wine into the same cocktail glasses, and we can figure out which ingredient make wine acting like this. Okay, here we have 5 cocktail glasses. From left to right, the first glasses have red wine inside it, and the second one is just a regular water, and the third one is grape juice from here, and the fourth one is rum. So everybody know rum is nothing but alcohol, right? And the last one is sugar water, and you can still see some undissolved sugar on the bottom of the glass. So after a while, when we look really closely to each of the glass, we can find water is just nothing interesting on the glasses, and same as the grape juice and also the sugar water. And then we can observe in the fourth glass, which have alcohol, rum inside, have something similar as the tears of wine. So from this experiment, we can conclude that even though wine has 4 major ingredients, but alcohol is a major reason why wines have tears. How does the wine climbing up at the glass wall at the first place? It is because the capillary action. Does the wine form the same curve at the glass wall as the water does? Well, the answer probably is no. So in this experiment, we need to figure out which has higher surface tension, water or alcohol. I prepared 2 paper towel pieces, and then I have 2 exactly the same cocktail glasses. And I will pour water in one of them and rum in another one. Then I will put the same paper towel piece in both of the glass, and let's see what happens. In the water glass, we can see the liquid level on the paper towel is much more higher than the rum liquid level. We can conclude that water have much more forces to climbing up on this paper towel than alcohol does. In other words, water have higher surface tension than alcohol. From previous explanation, we know that alcohol has lower surface tension than water. So how does this help the first step of the tears of wine forming, the forming of the thin liquid layer on the glass wall? So we all know the wine clumps up on the glass wall at the first time because of the capillary action. Then let's consider the wine body as 2 separate regions here, showing in this diagram. The red region is here, the curved region, right beside the glass wall. And the blue region is the wine body down here. The difference between these 2 regions is the red region is much thinner than the blue region. So it is much more easier for the alcohol inside the red region to evaporate than the blue region. So the red region more likely to become the low alcohol concentration region. The red region is more liquid than just the liquid that raining out by capillary action. So there has to be a force between red and blue region so that there will be more and more liquid pumping up from the blue region to red region. And my hypothesis for this experiment is that the force we need in this process is the surface tension difference between the blue and red region. And the red region is low concentration region, as I explained earlier. And this region has more water composed relatively to the blue region. So it will have more surface tension. And then this will help form the thin liquid layer on the glass wall. If we can prove that high concentration liquid can always flow to low concentration liquid, then this hypothesis is true. Here I have a flat glass plate on a flat table, and I will drop a wine drop on the plate first. Then pour some rum nearby it and see what's going to happen. And we can see that the rum is pushing really hard to the wine right beside the boundary, and even separate the wine into 2 drops. And from this experiment, we can know that the high concentration liquid rum is pushing really hard to the low concentration liquid wine. From the experiment, we saw the rum push wine really hard until they dissolved each other. But in other words, we also conclude that the high concentration liquid will always flow to low concentration liquid by itself. The thin layer liquid on glass wall is formed because the red region alcohol evaporate much more faster than water and becomes low concentration liquid than the blue region. And the surface tension difference between the red and blue region liquid put up more and more liquid to the red region, which forms the thin layer on the glass wall. Then let's do an imaginary experiment. Here, we have two pictures. The first one is the actual case when you pour some wine into a wine glass, and there will be some thin liquid layer formed on the glass wall, as I explained earlier. And here is another imaginary case. There's no alcohol evaporate case, which means after the capillary action makes a curve between the glass wine and the wine body, there's no alcohol evaporate performed. So in this case, we won't end up some thin liquid layer beside the glass wall, but we will only have the curve. Then we're ready to explain how the tears of wine finally formed after the thin layer of liquid formed right beside the glass wall and above the surface level of wine. And my hypothesis is tears of wine forms the drops from the thin liquid layer on glass wall, and as more and more liquid is pumping up from the back of the wine, then the drops will come together and come back to the bag by itself. In this experiment, we need to observe how the tears of wine forming and to prove my hypothesis is true. First, I need to pour some wine into the empty glass. And then let's do some observation. The tears is not dropping it by itself right after the liquid being pumping up. You have to come together at the highest level of the thin liquid level first, then dropping off into the wine bag. Does other ingredients in wine contribute to this phenomenon? Well, it is not true that alcohol is the only reason of tears of wine forming, because when we are looking back at the experiment we did at the first time, we can see that rum also forms some kind of tears, but the tear shape is totally different from the wine shape. We can say that the wine's tear is much more beautiful than rum's tears. And that's because wine have much more sugar inside its body. And sugar has large molecules that can help form larger drops than alcohol does and come down along the glass wall and form the beautiful tears of wine. To sum up, tears of wine are formed because the following process. The capillary action of wine made a small amount of wine climbs up on the glass wall at first. Then this liquid becomes lower concentration than the original wine bag because some of the alcohol evaporates from the liquid body. Then this lower concentration liquid will absorb up more and more wine from the bag and forms the thin liquid layer on the glass wall. And after a few seconds, the liquid becomes drops and fall back to the bag by its own gravity. So tears of wine cannot be used as a standard of determining the quality of wine, but can show the relative amount of alcohol and sugar inside the wine body. So big holiday is coming. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Drink wisely.